Well, good morning. Welcome to Pat's Pondering on Life. Many times I deal with grief with my clients. They've gone through a significant loss of either loss of a loved one, a friend, a pet, and it also could be a divorce too, because that marriage, the dreams that you had for that marriage have died too. So that's a lot of the work I do, but I'm also, for 11 years, been a life mastery consultant. This one, I love this story because it talks more in that area about your dreams. And just think, she followed her dream. Far away, there in the sunshine, are my highest aspirations. I may not reach them, but I can look up and see their beauty, believe in them, and try to follow them. That was by Louisa May Alcott. Isn't it interesting how that was long ago and yet applies to today? The story I'm going to tell you about today is The Wind Beneath Her Wings. Love this story. In 1959, when Jean Harper was in the third grade, her teacher gave the class an assignment to write a report on what they wanted to be when they grew up. Jean's father was a crop duster pilot in the little farming community in Northern California, where she was raised. Jean, she was totally captivated by airplanes and flying. She poured her heart into her report and included all of her dreams. She wanted to crop dust, make parachute jumps, see clouds, something she'd seen on a TV episode of Sky King, and be an airline pilot. Her paper came back with an F on it. The teacher told her it was a fairy tale and that none of the occupations she listed were women's jobs. Jean was crushed and humiliated. Imagine she poured her heart out. She showed her father the paper and he told her that of course she could be a pilot. Look at Amelia Earhart. That teacher doesn't know what she's talking about. What great support that was. But as the years went by, Jean was beaten down by the discouragement and negativity she encountered whenever she talked about her career. Girls can't become airline pilots. Never have, never will. You're not smart enough. You're crazy. That's impossible. Until finally Jean gave up. In her senior year of high school, her English teacher was a Mrs. Dorothy Slatton. Mrs. Slatton was an uncompromising, demanding teacher with high standards and a low tolerance for excuses. She refused to treat her students like children, instead expecting them to behave like the responsible adults that they would have to be to succeed in a real world after graduation. Jean was scared of her at first, but grew to respect her firmness and fairness. One day, Mrs. Slayton gave the class an assignment. What do you think you'll be doing 10 years from now? Jean thought about the assignment. Pilot? No way. Flight attendant? I'm not pretty enough. They'd never accept me. Wife? What guy would want me? Waitress? I could do that. That felt safe, so she wrote it down. Mrs. Slayton collected the papers, and nothing more was said. 2 weeks later, the teacher handed back the assignments, face down on the desk, and asked this question. If you had unlimited finances, unlimited access to the finest schools, unlimited talents and abilities, what would you do? Well, Jean felt a rush of old enthusiasm, and with excitement she wrote down all of her old dreams. When the students stopped writing, the teacher said, "How many students wrote the same thing on both sides of the paper?" Not one hand went up. The next thing Mrs. Slayton said changed the course of Jean's life. The teacher leaned forward over her desk and said, "I have a little secret for you all." Excuse me. You do have unlimited abilities and talents. You do have access to the finest schools, and you can arrange unlimited finances if you want something badly enough. This was it. When you leave school, if you don't go for your dreams, no one will. No one will do it for you. You can have what you want if you want it enough. The hurt and fears of the years of discouragement crumbled in the face of the truth that Mrs. Sloane had said. Jean felt exhilarated and a little scared. She stayed after class and went up to the teacher's desk. Jean thanked Mrs. Slayton and told her about her dream becoming a pilot. Mrs. Slayton half rose and slapped the desktop. "Then do it," she said. So Jean did. It didn't happen overnight. It took 10 years of hard work, facing opposition that ranged from quiet skepticism to outright hostility. It wasn't in Jean's nature to stand up for herself when someone refused her and humiliated her. Instead, she would quietly try to find another way. She became a private pilot and then got the necessary ratings to fly air freight and even commuter planes, but always as a co-pilot. Her employers were openly hesitant about promoting her because she was a woman. Even her father advised her to try something else. "It's impossible," he said. "Stop banging your head against the wall." But Jean answered, "Dad, I disagree. I believe that things are going to change, and I want to be at the head of the pack when they do." Well, Jean went on to do everything her third grade teacher said was a fairy tale. She did some crop dusting, made a few hundred parachute jumps, and even seeded clouds for a summer season as the weather modification pilot. In 1978, she became one of the first 3 female pilot trainees ever accepted by United Airlines, and one of the only 50 women airline pilots in the nation at the time. Today, Jean Harper is a Boeing 737 captain for United. It was the power of one well-placed positive word, one spark of encouragement from a woman Jean respected. That gave that uncertain young girl the strength and the faith to pursue her dream. Today, Jean says, "I chose to believe her." That was written by Carol Klein with Jean Harper. How many times have you had a dream, excuse me, and well-meaning people told you that was impossible? If I had a magic wand and I waved it over you, and whatever you dreamed, it was possible, what would you do with your life? Are you living your dream? Many don't. Many put it on the shelf. Life gets in the way. Marriage, children, work. And then when they come to think about it again, maybe after the kids have gone, are you at an age that you could still pursue that? I can't see jumping out of an airplane at my age. But if you don't go towards your dream, what are you working for? When you're happy and you're doing what you love doing, I love coaching. I love my dressmaking business of 37 years. I love helping people work through their grief. I'm doing what I love to do. I knew when I left high school, I had 3 dreams. I wanted to do hair, I wanted to do clothing design, and I love psychology. Excuse me. From high school, I went directly to beauty school, and I did that for a long time. And then 37 years ago, I opened up my sewing business. I sold knitting machines and I did sewing. I still do that. I don't work as fast as I used to, But I love sewing, and I love the people. I've met some fantastic people. And the psychology, that's coaching. Helping people, encouraging them. When I take someone through the grief program, excuse me, they're not the same person 8 weeks later. They have new hope. They understand the emotions that they're going through. Yeah, that's a very rewarding thing for me. And then I like to transition them over into their life coaching. What do they really want to do with their life? You know, if someone's been married for 60 years and they lose their spouse, they've lost some identity. They're not a spouse anymore. You know, you lose a child, you're not in a mother's role anymore, but you're always going to be a mother, even if you lose that child. I've lost 2 children. They will always, forever be in my heart. But at that point, they can transition. They can start thinking, okay, what dream have I put on the shelf that I didn't get to do? If you want it bad enough, just like the teacher said, if you want it bad enough, you will find a way. I do believe that God puts dreams in our hearts. And He wants us to pursue them. He wants us to be happy. Doing what you love doing, that is happiness here on earth. And I'm so glad that so many people do. But there's also a lot of people that don't. They just walk through life. Okay, he asked me to marry him. I guess I'll get married. And then wonder why it ends up in a divorce. Because their heart's not in it. When you have your heart in something and you have a passion for it, you can do it. It might not happen overnight. At one point, I said 10 years. Well, one of mine waited 30 years. And I'm so glad I did. It was the best 6.5 years of my life. I'll never forget it. But it was a dream I had. It started as a dream. So what's your dream? If nothing stopped you, money, age, anything, nothing would stop you, think about it. What would you love to do? I do give a free 1-hour conversation that you can go to my website, and I'll put it into the chat, or the links there, where you can go. I'll give you that free hour. Let's talk about your dreams. Maybe it's dreams that you have lived and maybe put on hold to have a family. You're ready to start it all over again. Build it up. And who's to say that you wouldn't be a better person at that dream now than you would have been, say, 20 years ago? Because you've gone through life experiences. That makes you wiser, smarter, more empathetic to help other people. If I hadn't gone through the trials of losses, 7 immediate family members in 2 years, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. But because God took me through those trials, I grew through them. We don't just go through them, we grow through them. Joel Osteen said that, and I think it's so well said, that we need to follow those dreams. Think about it. And if you'd like to, give me a call. I will be glad to listen to your dreams. Bye for now.